Dr. Rajendra Singh Paroda Sahib, Chairman, Trust for Advancement of Agricultural Sciences, former Secretary, Department of Agricultural Research and Education, former Director General, ICR.
Please, sir.
It's a great privilege for me to be here today. Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Vishnuvardhan Reddy. When he called and said that you have to come to Tirupati for alumni meet, and we are expecting about 1,000 alumni members of the association to participate, I thought it was an order not from this Vishnu, but the Lord Vishnu. Coming to Tirupati, I had been here 2-3 times, but somehow could not visit this particular college, and therefore I am really very happy to be here to know what this college has done for this region and contributed towards overall growth of our Indian agriculture. On the dais, beside the Vice Chancellor of Veterinary University, Dr. again Reddy, Dr. W.R. Reddy, Dr. Raghav Reddy, who had been earlier the Vice Chancellor, and Pratap Kumar Reddy, Dean of Agriculture, Ramarao, Registrar. Then we also have Madhvi Lataji, who is again a graduate from this college, and your Associate Dean, Vasanti ji. It gives a great pleasure that on the dais you have gender balance. And not only gender balance, I was told, and from the report I could guess, that on this campus you have now about 64% girls student. During my time there were hardly no girls in our colleges, and many of the alumni who are here would possibly remember it. So, and we know any society once if grows, it grows through the education of women. And the kind of education this college is providing has given me real pleasure indeed. And your dean also is Dr. Vasanti, who is again alumni of IRI. I see many alumni here from IRI also, so they are my colleague as well. But let me tell you that I am also alumni of Acharya N.G. Ranga University, because I, along with Dr. Borlaug, received the honorary DSc degree a few years back. So it is my alumni association as well. And the first batch had come here and very proudly mentioned that we are the first batch of this college. Was an indication of the kind of, happiness in their minds of what has been achieved during the last 60 years. Last 60 years also tells us the story of Green Revolution, from the stage of begging bowl to that of self-sufficiency, and now one of the important exporting countries in the world, fetching about $50 billion US, is not a small achievement, and it has definitely been based on science and innovation. But as Dr. Borlaug used to say, these revolutions cannot be achieved unless there are institutions and human resource. Institutions like this, the college like this, and the human resource. And if we don't have human resource to tackle the challenges that our society was facing before and are now facing today, probably we would not be able to tell to the rest of the world what India as a nation has. And today, the maximum rural youth in the whole world are in India. Out of 400 total youth population, that is the largest compared even to China today, 200 million are in the rural areas, and they need better knowledge. They also need exposure to new agriculture, secondary agriculture, specialty agriculture, and ways by which they can increase not only their income but also have a respect in the society. And I can tell you, when I joined agriculture, everyone as my classmate had laughed at me that everyone is going to medical or engineering and this fellow is going to agriculture. I was not all that bad a student at that time, but then let me tell you that in retrospect there is no regret. I feel today agriculture is respected. When we celebrated our 50th year of independence in the Central Hall of Parliament, that time our President Dr. K.R. Narayanan had mentioned two important things, that if India has achieved in the 50 years of our independence any two important things, one is that we have become self-sufficient, and second is that our life expectancy has doubled from 32 years at that time, it was 62 years, and currently I am told it is 68 years. And thanks to these institutions, the support that we have been getting from the policy makers, the pension most of us are getting, that our life is increasing, and many of us who possibly would have not been here today are still there and have to play a great role. Having said this, I also would like to say that it is high time that we look at our new challenges. Let us not be happy on the laurels of the past. Many things can be said. We are second largest producer of wheat, second largest producer of rice, the largest producer of milk. We are exporting, and for that I must really appreciate the contributions of the progressive farmers and fish farmers of Andhra Pradesh, that today we are exporting more than 7 to 8 billion US dollars worth of seafood abroad, which we hardly used to, and we are also feeding the entire nation. Even people in Bengal are eating fish produced in Andhra Pradesh. Things have happened. Things have happened even in horticulture. Our production of horticulture has excelled even the food grain production. In milk, from 21 million tons in 1950, now we are having 210 million tons. From 100 grams availability, it is 400 grams. So things definitely have happened. But on the other side, when we look at the concern relating to sustainable development goals is still before us, particularly with regard to the poverty and also hidden hunger, which has to be eliminated by 2030. Beside, of course, the care for our environment by addressing the adverse effects of climate change, which now is a reality. In that context, our Prime Minister has made laudable commitments in the Paris Agreement, in the last COP26, and recently in COP27 in Egypt. The commitment which has been made is almost double than many of the developing countries with regard to reducing the greenhouse gas emissions with regard to generating the renewable energy, and also with regard to our efforts of reducing the what you call is carbon load. In that respect, we must have to also see from agriculture side what we can do. We know that in agriculture we are again contributing about 17% to the greenhouse gas emission. So we have to improve our cultivation of rice, from where methane emission is to a greater extent. We have to use fertilizer more efficiently so that there is no problem of nitrous oxides, and also we have to take care of our bovine animals which contribute greenhouse gas, particularly the cattle and buffalo. Having said these, I see that we have to now encourage youth in agriculture, encourage youth to be retained. It was pointed out that our agriculture is aging, farmers are concerned, youth is not interested in agriculture, and therefore we have to motivate them, and the motivation can not only come by retaining them in routine agriculture practices. They have to be given special opportunities which are now emerging, whether it is encouragement of entrepreneurs or farmer producer organizations, and credit to the farmer, and also we are having now a special effort to reduce poverty through National Food Security Act. But above all, still the children below 5 years of age are having the protein and micronutrient deficiency, and they are 40 million in our country. No other country has so much of malnourished children, and also malnourished pregnant women compared to what we have. We have reduced poverty from almost 80%. It has come down to now 16%. We have also tried to produce all kinds of food, and nutrition is available, but the people neither have access to this because of their buying power, and government alone cannot do everything. And in that respect, there is an opportunity for many of us who have retired from government service, like myself. I am also not now in any active service that way, but we need to continue doing whatever best we can and give back to the society. The efforts which we make for our own self-rise, and also for the progress of the family is one part of it, but the service to the society also is an important aspect, especially in relation to agriculture sector. And for that, we also know clearly that only those are remembered who give back to the society, not those who try to do for their own self. And in that context, the alumni have great responsibility. I am so happy that here you have alumni association, and which seem to be quite active and vibrant. And it was stated that this alumni association should further be strengthened. I am happy you have today released your website. I hope everyone is on the alumni association's list, and their details are available, but we need to approach all of them, and there are many ways by which we can give back to society. We are at a stage that now neither our children really want much, because luckily most of them are doing well. They better environment than what we got, which you have all given. So whatever you have now is a stage when we can give back to the society, and especially to the institutions like this. You go to any institution or university abroad, you find that this building is constructed by this particular alumni, and this one support is by this particular alumni, whether it is Harvard or Stanford or any other, or Cornell you go. So here I think we have not, Dr. Reddy, taken full advantage of it. Because many times when we are retired, and if you don't invite me, I would not like to just come and impose myself. We should be seen as invited. We should be seen as an important component of the society, and it is, as was also mentioned, it is a great wisdom with them. Even I have seen many university vice chancellors say, I don't have faculty, what to do, and no sanction of post. Then when I say, but you may be having many good retired teachers and scientists around, why not you get them and for teaching? Many of us will come to the institution and give the lectures free. It's not that we want money, but we want some respect, and that respect should come from the institutions, and I am sure many of alumni would come forward and contribute, whether it is in kind or in cash. There is no doubt about it, and you did mention that alumni are constructing hostel of 30 rooms. So some initiative must have been there from somewhere, and then others came forward and said, yes, we should have it, and therefore there are many options available. I would like to say that many institutions don't have this. Even at IRI, I have been trying to strengthen. I am patron of the retired scientists of PUSA and ICAR at Delhi. I am also advisor to the Retired Scientists Association in Hyderabad called RICARIA, and there is Alumni Association also at IRI, but they hardly meet, and so you need also some committed people to come forward. And I can tell you, as was said earlier by someone, that we might have retired, but we are not tired. We really can contribute and come forward. And in that respect, sky is the limit. I am so happy that you have already this. This can be an example for other institutions, and no doubt this college has a lot of potential, as was mentioned, whether it is for groundnut, whether it is for rice, even for diversification, even for fish farming, even for livestock. The veterinary university is also on this campus, and livestock role is also very, very important. The way the farmers for shrimp cultivation have organized in Andhra Pradesh is to be emulated by many others. And therefore we recently had a meeting in Mathura only 2 days back about the future of dairy sector in India. Now one would say, why you discuss future of dairy sector in India? Already we are having 210 million tons produced. We are the largest producer. But when you try to look at what is our export potential from dairy sector, only 400 million compared to 7 to 8 billion US dollars from fish sector. And people are happy saying that, well, we are producing so much and we are consuming. Luckily, we have the robust internal market. We have our own growing population, we will be the largest. I am told earlier we were thinking we will be the largest population-wise country in the world in 2027, but now it will be next year. Next year we will be overtaking China, and in that context, if country like New Zealand, Australia, Brazil, if they are producing more of animal products or more of horticulture products, they would die if they don't export. And the sky is the limit in terms of globalization of market. We have to think of diversifying the milk products, and also should we remain only smallholder based dairy sector in our country, why can't it be an organized dairy sector to produce more efficiently our productivity of the animals, particularly for milk from the cattle is only about 1,000 liters compared to the global average of 2,500 liters. And countries like Europe are producing more than 7,000 liters. So we need to make our system efficient. We have to also see whether whatever we are doing is right. Why not we go in for say new opportunities, protected cultivation, but all these would require or conservation agriculture or micro irrigation, fertigation, whatnot, or nanotechnology. But you would require good knowledge. You would require also support, policy support from the people to scale these innovations. And scaling innovation is the challenge. Even we are having challenge of adopting the GM crops for food purposes. Recently, after all the efforts we have been making for last 1 decade, the ban on GM food crop has recently been removed, and GM mustard has been permitted. But then again there is great opposition, and people don't realize that we are already importing soya bean and mustard from abroad, and we are eating the oil which is GM oil, and for that there is no concern. But if our farmer produces it, then there is a concern. So we have to be also having a responsibility of providing the science-based knowledge to the farmers, to the public, have policy advocacy, convince the policy makers, and institutions like this must require more support, because investment in agriculture research gives you 10 times more return, and no other sector gives that much. It has been proved amply, whether it is road, whether it is transport, whether it is electricity, and so on. So compared to that, the investment in agricultural education, research and development is a priority. Our country had been agriculture based country. We have been saying भारत एक कृषि प्रधान देश है, but हमने किसान को तो प्रधान अभी तक बनाया नहीं, and this was the concern shown that we have to make farmer first. And no doubt there are government initiatives, but it would all require efforts and new directions, incentive oriented support to farmers rather than subsidies, linking farmers to market, value addition. It is not only production but post production. So there are issues, and they have to be all looked at, and there are challenges. It would require new breed of entrepreneurs. We have to provide good knowledge also to the farmer, and good knowledge extension services are not as strong as they used to be during the Green Revolution time, and the technologies require much more complicated information, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is big data, whether it is relating to the use of drones, or for that matter nanotechnology, etc. and that would require much better trained people, and we would require private extension so that the knowledge is imparted without any dissemination loss. And we would also require entrepreneurs, the young people, not to look for white collar jobs, and universities will have to also think differently under the new education policy, that it is not only the education for the formal graduate and postgraduates, but it should be also education for diploma holders and for entrepreneurship. And we have to encourage entrepreneurship. There are possibilities of that kind, but that would require institutional support, that would require mentors, that would also require timely availability of credit, and also that would require the hand holding to a greater extent. And that again I see where we as alumni can play quite a considerable role. We can promote and motivate the youth, and that is a challenge. Otherwise the future of agriculture possibly would not be as what we are otherwise expecting. I can go on. Time is already late. I think there is a cultural program. Artists are standing at the back. They are waiting when we should finish this. So I would like to once again thank you. Thank you, Dr. Reddy, for inviting me, and also thank you, Vasanti ji, for after me for last almost 1 week to make sure that I am here and I am provided all information relating to the progress at this particular college. Personally, Dr. Reddy, you have said you have made great stride in having better ranking from less than 30, now it is about 11th. I would say next time it should be maybe in first 5. And but dear friends, that would require effort by all of you, not only Vice Chancellor, because performance through you is evaluated there, and that's a good sign that you are making a good progress. And why first or third? Why not first in the country? So we should have that goal. Dr. Abdul Kalam, in the Science Congress which I had chaired, had come as a president that time, and then addressed the youth. We had organized Youth Congress, and that time he had said, all young people have dreams, but have big dreams. But to achieve those big dreams, you must have hard work, perseverance, and commitment. And success will be all yours. So I am sure that success will be here for anything that you would like to take up. Thank you very much.
That you are also part and parcel of our alumni. Your commendable contribution in making our great nation, in transforming from food deficit to food surplus nation, is highly appreciable, sir. We continue you to shower your choicest blessings on all of us forever, sir. Thank you very much.